Anyway, we get first rung up the ladder and get to the Titans, who finished 14th this
14th,
year
yeah.
with
9
wins.
15 losses. A points differential of minus 126. You completed quite well, 5th in the competition. Tackle efficiency again for a team that was... Their season really went upwards once they got rid of their coach. Like they,
Yes.
they look like a
they-
completely different team once their coach
The
left.
coach
there.
obviously just decided to come into the change rooms at halftime and remind him there's another 40 to go.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. They were playing 30 to 40 minutes at most, week in, week out, and just getting dominated at back ends of games. And they they grew another leg at the back end of the year, and we're actually quite competitive against some of the better teams towards the back end of the season.
Dave Fafita nearly blindsided us all and won the Daggy. Nearly pulled off the Daggy M upset there, but
Average 24 points for, 27 against. Not the worst.
that's been their go-to for 2 years. 26 has been their par. You know, they're going to score 26 every game, and if you get more, you beat them. They're more than capable of conceding more, though.
Yes.
What any key stats or plays you want to touch on before we ask? If you
ineffective tackles, they were first, so they didn't fall off too many tackles. They were quite good defensively.
do we have a definition of ineffective tackles?
Well, that's basically when you're involved in a tackle and you're not there when it's completed.
Right. Okay. So you're falling off. Okay.
Yeah, so you're falling off tackles. Errors, was pretty poor. It was about where they finished. There was one stat here that missed tackles. They were third on the list for missed tackles. So, again, they're quite good defensively. The biggest problem that I saw from them, though, was once they did get split out, especially on those edges, which we've always conceded to be a massive problem, they've got huge defensive problems in the outside backs. So as soon as they get split open out there, it generally leads directly to points for their opposition. So
we had high hopes for Aaron Troop solving that. He did not.
Did not. Definitely did not. He was probably one of the first blokes that people were looking at to get removed from this side, which was unfortunate because he looked pretty good at the Dogs as a defensive centre. But did not add a great deal out there for them in this one. Brian Kelly was probably the best of their outside backs, actually, for a bloke that's been maligned for a long, long time. Tackle bust, 5th with 35.3. That probably has a lot to do with Dave Fafita running amok for a big part of the season.
Well, actually, he's surprising. He's one that surprised me. Philip Sammy, 103 tackle busts this year.
Yes.
And had a very, very good attacking year, actually. Linking up on that edge, but...
Security's arrived. 9th in line breaks with 5 a game, but post-contact meters, another one. The forward pack probably did underperform, especially at the start of the season.
Well, I don't think it did because...
It did,
but we said at the start of the year, and copped scorn for it, that we said their bench was small and thin, and there's not a lot after the top 3, and we were right.
Yeah.
So, yes, it underperformed.
You had Fafita, but Fafita wasn't in the middle of the field.
No.
Fafita basically was a second centre who played out on that left edge for the majority of it. Mo and Tino did shit tons of work in the middle of the field. And Randall was their best tackler. So when he was involved, he did a lot of the clean-up stuff in the middle of the field. But as soon as Tino and Mo got rotated in and out of this forward pack, their go-forward really stopped. Yeah. Which was a massive...
And that was it. And essentially they had to play 70 minutes each to exist. Look, we did say we've been crying for Fafita to get and do some grunt work, and I think just calling him another centre is a bit unfair. I think he was pretty good this year.
No, just positionally. He made his 30-odd tackles, and he was making tackle busts, scoring tries.
They were on last year.
Miles up on what he was last year. Like, he was doing a lot of tackling, but it wasn't in the middle of the field where they did seem to lack a lot of impetus at the start of the year. Where they were, as soon as Tino and Mo sort of got out of the way, David Fafita wasn't taking hit-ups through the middle of the field.
No, that's right. Yeah. And realistically, I think to be at their best, they need to find another prop. They could use a Takiaho.
100%.
And move Tino back to lock, and then that would become a formidable forward pack. You mentioned Chris Randall. I thought he was fantastic. I thought and he was a tackling machine coming from Newcastle, but he was outstanding the back end of the year when he had to be.
Yep.
He was an absolute workhorse and started providing attacking options too. Do you want to touch on some more stats, or should I?
Khan Pereira had at times he floats in and out of games. Like there were some games where he wasn't involved at all, but then there's other games where he just looked like lightning every time he touched the ball and left blokes for dead all over the place. 30 line breaks for the year. 20 tries. He was ninth on the list, and I think he only played about 17 games for the season. So had a very good strike rate out there on that left edge for them. Tanner Boyd was quite good. I thought for a bloke who's always sort of a bit part player, and in most places he's been, he took control of the Titans for a big part of this year and was pretty good as their little general in the middle of the field there. 10th on points scored with 147, 69 goals to throw in on the top of that. We already mentioned David Fafita, 5th with tackle bust, 130 tackle bust for the year. He was rampaging hard to stop at different points through the year. And just another one on Tanner Boyd, 6th on kicking meters, up near 10,000 kick meters for the year.
And he's a beautiful goal kicker too, like a clean kicker.
Verrills added something when he came back in, but again, out for a long part of the year. Probably coincided when he came back in about when the coach went out, I think. So
yeah, he was injured.
And he did really sort of lift up the tempo in the middle of the field and with some of that ball distribution there. So I thought he was someone that they can sort of build around as long as they can keep him on the field next year.
I was sort of bullish on saying this was the stats don't necessarily reflect it, but I thought Kieran Foran had a good year. I thought he had his best year in
played a
probably
very
3 or
good
4
role.
years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But fit the role he had to fit in this team.
100%.
He got the best out of Fafita and out of the other blokes around him.
Yep.
And he had those couple of games where he pinched a few tries along the way. I thought he added a lot to this team, and I was only going to be bullish about say it was a resurgence of him, but it probably was. Stayed fit by and large,
Big parts of the year. Yeah.
Looked good. Like he's a player that the 3 teams underneath.
Lovely short ball and a lovely short kicking game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's been
But
the crux
ultimately,
of his career.
there was a bit of scorn when they signed him, but he's a player that the 3 teams underneath the
And
Titans
his shoulders didn't drop
would
off,
have
which
all killed for, really.
we thought he might have had his shoulders blown off a few times during the year, but it didn't happen. Very good, controlling short kicking game, short passing game. Jaden Campbell, I thought, had a fantastic year, especially towards the back end of the year. He's very exciting every time the ball sort of goes anywhere in his direction. A lot sort of towards the Reece Walsh mode, but a bit more direct through the centre rather than linking up on the edges.
Does he end up in the
can do
halves?
that. I've been saying ever since I've seen him that I'd be playing him at 6. His old man did it for forever and a day, and he does really look like that suits him back through the middle of the field, changes of angles, short passing, short kicking. But whether they, I think once Foran goes, that is his position. Well, AJ was a bit of a disappointment, really. At the start of the year, he was flying.
He only played 14 games, and
he did have a lot of injury stop-start during
never really
the year.
got going again. I don't know if AJ could play centre. He probably could, but I don't know. It solves your edge concerns.
No.
I think you're right in that you just back AJ and give Campbell a chance to grow into the 6 role. Could almost probably play 7 if you're going to go down a path.
Probably gets him a little bit less physical contact.
Yeah,
Play
get
on
in
7.
the Preston path.
Gets
pretty
him.
much.
Yeah, he doesn't get hit as much with the ball in the hand, I would imagine. But he's always going to be a target in defence because he's 5'2" or whatever it is, whatever he is, and 60 kilos. But that's where you need your big back rowers to give him a hand. Tino was fantastic. Gave away a few penalties, which he was high up on that list, but that's part of his game. He likes the niggle and the rough stuff in the middle of the field.
Probably should have given away at least 4 or 5 other penalties for the year when he broke a few jaws.
Yeah,
but
when he
anyway.
he was smacking blokes in the face. But yeah, Brian Kelly had a bit of a breakout year too, especially towards the back end of the year. A lot of tackle breaking and setting up tries for his outside men. But yeah, they've got
Look, Des is
less
coming in now.
issues than a couple of the others, but
Yeah, Des is coming in. They should. Everyone we just talked about and wrapped should all mean this should be a good side.
yes,
And
100%.
what does Des change? The best Des Hasler coach teams are star driven, I would almost say.
Yeah.
And
Little bit.
I suppose that, yeah, a little bit. That's maybe not fair. Maybe it is fair. I don't know. But relies on, that rep of that mad scientist trying to get sort of something wacky out of a few players, adding allegedly more of a grind to a team.
I was just about to say that.
Is this the right squad for him?
He is very driven about going back through the middle of the ruck. He is a guy who does base a lot of that first 3 tackles being cemented through the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Which they've got a couple of guys that can set that up, but they're another one that probably need a little bit of size to help with the rotation when Tino and
Palacia is going up there, so that'll help.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Someone's going to go into the line and create a bit of footwork. Probably a good foil on the other edge for Feeder, actually.
Yeah, 100%. But, and another middle or two for mine would help. Keeping Verrills fit for the entirety of the season, and AJ Brimson, that fact. I think if they actually keep AJ and Verrills on the field for more or 3/4 of this season, they're probably pushing the top 8.
And if Tino plays, or Tino missed 5, Mo missed a couple, you get a couple more games out of them. You only have to win 1 or 2 more, and you're pushing the 8, aren't you? It feels like they should be. Next year's a big backup year for your Sammys and Kellys. I think it's do or die next year.
Oh, that's probably has been their biggest problem for the last couple of years, especially defensively out on those edges. I don't know whether they try to formulate a different type of defensive structure when it gets out there, whether they just always slide or they always jam and just back themselves to cover it that way. But they do get very confused when the ball gets out to the centres and the wingers.
Yeah. I wonder how much this goes back, because we talk about the Roosters line defence. I wonder how much of that goes back to fullback communication. Like, I wonder if maybe Teddy's just a genius and calls a lot of plays along the way to scramble for the Rooks, and maybe lack of continuities affects some of this team. Yeah, anything else on the Titans?
With the Roosters, their line defence for mine just seems that basically they slide.
Yeah.
They move a couple of metres off their line, but they just follow the ball, and everyone follows the ball. There's no dropping off on the inside. There's no, if we're sliding right, everyone's sliding right. And if they start to come back the other way, then we're going back the other way. And they don't jam as often as some of the other teams that seem to get caught out on the outside edges. So.
And Penrith do the same. Penrith are just clear and concise. So if they're going left, if they're going right, we're going right. And back the bloke on the inside that if they have to change direction, we'll cover that shoulder. Anything else on the Titans? We've somehow got distracted there. Not like us.
They need to concrete down that fullback position, I think, and set
Make
up
a call. It's just what Des does, where he comes and just goes, right, Campbell's the fullback.
Set up a style of play of how they're going to involve them, because they're the 2 biggest potent attacking weapons for mine. They can get by with your foreigns and your Tanner Boyds playing in the halves, as long as you've got that injection from the back and the 14 when one of the other comes on as the 14. So
yeah, you get Randall and Verrills both on the field together. Well, in that team, one of them could play lock. Verrills, I think, has played lock for. Don't quote me. I feel
Randall's played a bit.
I feel like Verrills played lock for Roosters at times. Going back there,
I'd be more towards Randall
and
just
play
as
as a
bit of a
linkman,
bigger body.
Not necessarily all the time,
robust.
but to give that opportunity to have those couple on the field punching through there.